Kurt Busch is coming back to NASCAR. Unexpected new plan? Surprise, surprise. We have some exciting news for all of you who are fans of Kurt Busch. The legend has returned. Indeed, Kurt has a promising future in the world of NASCAR. You have to be curious about how, right? Well, after he had already decided to leave NASCAR following an accident, he is now having second thoughts, but not about doing it full-time. This part is disappointing, but we can still enjoy his performance part-time, so we hope to see Kurt racing again. You're watching Racing Rush, so now let's get into the details of this unexpected new plan. As to the sources before, this year, Kurt Busch will not compete in all of NASCAR's races on a full-time basis. After suffering a concussion in a crash during qualifying at Pocono in July, the 2004 Cup Series champion and 2017 Daytona 500 winner made the announcement that he would not be able to race full-time in NASCAR in 2023. This decision comes as a result of that accident that occurred in July, and since it, Busch had not participated in any races. Busch made the announcement in Las Vegas, his hometown, and the location of the Cup Series race that will take place on Sunday. He stated that he wanted to compete in a few races during the following season if he were given the all-clear from his doctor. I am aware that I'm not performing at my full potential in order to compete at the highest level in the NASCAR Cup Series. These are the best drivers in the world, yet as of late, I haven't felt like my usual self. I have been advised by my medical team that it would be in my best interest to shut it down for the remainder of this season. Even though I have made significant progress since I started working with leading specialists and the team at the Toyota Performance Center, I'm still not at my peak performance, and I have not been given the green light to participate. As I continue to concentrate solely on my health and make progress toward being given the all-clear, I have made the decision to retire from full-time participation in the NASCAR Cup Series in 2023. Now, what we have got to know is a surprise from the sources about the legend Kurt himself, that the future of racing for Kurt Busch has been the focus of a lot of attention over the past several days, with many people wondering what will happen to him once his current contract with 23XI Racing expires in 2023. The native of Las Vegas, Nevada, has competed in auto racing for more than 2 decades, and it appeared as of the end of the 2022 season that Busch would be hanging up his helmet and call it a career. 23XI Racing, Busch's team, had just recently signed Tyler Reddick, who will make his debut with the squad in 2024. Busch's future has become the topic of conversation ever since the announcement was made, and many people are curious as to whether or not 23XI Racing would acquire a third charter, or whether or not Reddick will inherit the number 45 Toyota Camry TRD. Busch made an appearance on CBS Morning recently, where he discussed a variety of topics, one of which was the most recent revelation that NASCAR would begin holding a street race in Chicago in the year 2023. The first ever street race in the history of the NASCAR Cup Series is scheduled to take place in Chicago during the summer in honor of NASCAR's 75th season. Professional drivers are expected to go to Chicago for the race. The race, according to Kurt Busch, is an unusual, brave move for the sport, and he discusses the reasons why it may be his final lap. The first ever street race in the history of the NASCAR Cup Series is scheduled to take place in Chicago during the summertime in honor of NASCAR's 75th season. Professional drivers are expected to go to Chicago for this race, and during the course of the conversation, Kurt Busch dropped a hint about his plans to retire after the 2023 season. He had previously mentioned that he was looking forward to participating in the street racing that following year, but that he might be finished with the sport after that. He said, "I've been involved in this sport for the past 23 years, and this to me is like one of those kid in a candy store moments of thinking, I want to be a part of this. And I'm thankful that the team will give me the opportunity to drive for them next year. After that, I may hang up my driving shoes for good." After Reddick's announcement, Kurt Busch stated that it was time to look at who the next talent was and where the sponsorships were, and that he was thrilled to welcome Reddick to the 23XI Racing family. Reddick's announcement came after Busch stated that it was time to look at who that next talent was. Constantly getting ready for what is ahead, the construction work proceeds. Tyler Reddick is now under contract with #Team Toyota through the year 2024. Denny Hamlin had mentioned that the team wanted Kurt Busch to be a part of their future in some capacity, whether it be on the track or off the track. Initially, Denny Hamlin had revealed that they were in discussions with Kurt about his future. Hamlin said that if Busch retires from NASCAR, he'll have a beautiful office job at 2311 and will be able to hang his helmet. Busch, who is 44 years old, was scheduled to enter his second season with 2311 Racing the following season. Nevertheless, it is reasonable to question whether he'll compete in the Cup Series once more on a full-time basis. Busch is a lock for induction into the NASCAR Hall of Fame thanks to his 34 victories in 776 races. Busch's consistency throughout his career was truly astounding. From 2001 through 2012, when he competed in the Cup Series full-time, he won a race in all but 3 of those seasons. He was the first driver to win the Cup Series championship after NASCAR implemented its playoff system. Due to the fact that Matt Kenseth won the 2003 championship before the end of the season, NASCAR changed the format of the postseason to include 10 playoff races the following year. After Busch's victory in the first NASCAR playoff race, he moved up to the top slot in the standings and has been there ever since. After finishing in 5th place in the second race, he fell to the second slot for a short while, but after finishing in 5th place again in the third race, he regained the first place position and maintained it for the last 7 races of the season. After placing 6th in a race in which his car lost a wheel as he was approaching the pit road, he was able to clinch the championship in the final race of the season, which took place at Homestead. Talking about how well Kurt Busch has done in the NASCAR Cup Series in a recent race, well, the active driver with the longest track record has accumulated a total of 774 career starts and has won 34 times. This places him alongside his younger brother Kyle Busch as one of the top active drivers with the most Cup wins. Kurt Busch has raced for a total of 7 different teams throughout the course of his 2 decades in the driver's seat, one of which is 2311 Racing. Busch became a free agent in the fall of 2021 and signed with 2311 Racing shortly thereafter. This came about as a result of Chip Ganassi's team being purchased by Trackhouse Racing. He made his racing debut with 2311 in 2022 as the team's second driver and has been an integral part of 2311's success so far. After his victory over Kansas, he led the team to a few finishes in the top 10, which ultimately led to them qualifying for the playoffs. After starting third in New Hampshire over the weekend, he ended up 10th in the overall standings. And he was traveling to Pocono in an attempt to secure his second victory of the season when he had his injury during the qualifying sessions. So what do you think? The decision was taken by Kurt Busch to join as a part-timer. Is that okay with you? Or do you still want to see him race full-time? Let us know in the comments your thoughts on this. Hey, that's all for today's video. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to give our video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to our channel. And we'll be back with more soon. Thanks for watching.